guys, again, it's jerninhgam here. My phone kept stopping for some reason. As I was talking about, the nurses are giving people jabs in the hospital for the coronavirus thing, you know, for the vaccine thing. And this guy's speaking on the TV. I don't know what much he's saying on the TV. He's just talking about things, talking about general stuff. Some people would say to me, why wouldn't I unplug this controller and let people hear what they're saying? But I may as well talk over it and about what's going on. Some people are probably good at lip reading, but I'm not very good at lip reading, so I'm just guessing what's going on. I mean, it says tier 3, Coventry, where that place is in the UK. So, yeah, we're still living in a crazy world, but we just got to keep strong and keep pulling through and keep positive attitude about all this craziness of coronavirus. I just don't know what to think about it. It's very distressing and upsetting for a lot of people, but at least the wheels are moving. At least things are moving now, which is great for a lot of people. And some people are probably going to be happy about it. There's probably other countries in the world that probably won't get the coronavirus vaccine. And unfortunately, some people will die. But it's a saddening time for a lot of us. And we just need to pull through. So, we're human beings. This is what we do. I've just got to see what else is on the news. As you can see here, they're talking about this for the vaccine. WhatsApp. If you've ever got WhatsApp, you can get this. Trying to think of these ideas for videos. I'm doing all right. I'm trying to think about them every day, but that's all you can do, really. So, crazy world. Absolutely crazy. Don't know what else to say in this video. Sitting here thinking about life and wondering that things could get better one day. Let's see what else is on the TV they're actually talking about now instead of the vaccine. I mean, they speak about football every day on the TV, as we all know. No MPs will travel to Brussels tomorrow to meet. So talk about no MPs going to Brussels, Brexit, I think. Alright, so there's another old man here sitting there with a nurse, so he probably had the vaccine as well. He's talking about something. Like I say, if you can lip read, it's very good, but sometimes I'll let you listen to what's going on the news. Other times I'll speak over the news. Some people probably don't like that, but you know, all the nurses have got the hospitals mostly under control, but it's very stressful to get all the patients in. You know, a lot of people are going to be happy because of this vaccine. As you can see there, they're putting... Oh, she's going to be putting the needle in. I don't know what this woman's talking about. She's speaking about something. Let's have a little listen to see what is actually being said on here, on the news channel, even though the battery is going to die in the controller. So basically, hold on a second here. Right, so we're going to have a little listen on the TV and see what's going on. See what's been said.
And I suppose we've all taken for granted.
I feel privileged in a way to be among the first group of people having the vaccine. I feel privileged, and also I want to set an example with my colleagues as well as the home that I'm working, that I'm more willing to have the vaccine, and hopefully that everybody will think the same way and everyone will agree to have the vaccine.
I'm hoping that after I've had the second one that I'll be able to come back, because the sooner I get back the better, because it keeps me going, you know, it keeps me going.
Wow. That's a bit of the speech of someone speaking about it, but I spoke half the time on the phone about talking about stuff, but going to another advert. So, let's see what else is on here. I think I've said most of the things in this video, I think. Keeps you going, it does keep you going, yeah. I mean, nobody likes this pandemic as it is. So we're going to be looking at this video quickly.
Researchers have confirmed that the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID vaccine is safe and effective, giving good protection. The paper, assessed by independent scientists, sets out full results from advanced trials of over 20,000 people, and it's been published in the Lancet journal. Regulators who will have seen the same data are considering the jab for emergency use. Our health reporter Philippa Roxby is here with me now. And just explain then, Philippa, why this is a significant development in the whole story of the Oxford vaccine.
Yeah, I mean, we heard a bit last month about some of the recent data from the phase 3 trials of this Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, and now they've actually been published, so the full data has been made available to us, and it confirms what we knew, that this vaccine is safe and effective. It protects against illness in 70% of people. And there were no hospitalizations or severe disease from COVID-19. So this backs up what we thought we knew. And this is important to the UK because the UK has ordered 100 million doses of this vaccine. And it's hoping it's going to get through the approval process quite quickly in the coming weeks. All this data is with the UK regulator right now, the MHRA, and they will be analysing it very carefully. There's a couple of things we didn't know, which is that most of the participants in this
There's
big
control
study
of your low battery. You can see it's blue at the minute, but trust me, it's on low battery.
Moment, they don't have quite enough data to say how well it works in older age groups, but that's something they'll be able to build up over time. But they do know that the immune response in older age groups did look to be good in earlier stages of the trial, so they're quite confident that it will work well in older age groups. There's also a hint that this vaccine could reduce transmission of the disease, and that's something that was hinted before, and it's potentially, again, appears in this data, but it's still too early to say for definite. They also don't yet know how long the protection from this vaccine will last for, but that's something they can analyse over time.
Is there any idea yet how long it will take before we get full regulation then of the Oxford vaccine?
We hope it's going to be in the coming weeks. The Oxford researchers said today that they hope it will be soon, before Christmas, and of course that will add to the Pfizer vaccine, which is already being rolled out today, and give the UK and most of the world a choice of vaccines, which is only going to help to end the pandemic in the long run.
Philippa, thank you very much indeed. Thanks.
Well, who knows what's going to go on with that then? One would say. Right, so Brexit deals with Boris Johnson as well. Mixture of news today. Talk about Nicola Sturgeon in Scotland as well. But 2 hours ago, is this the nurses extended the first vaccine? After this stupid advert, obviously. Pisses me off. There's a nurse taking a vaccine.
That's really exciting. It's lovely. You feel like you're a wee bit of history in the making, don't you? It's really lovely. I hardly felt a thing. Thank you very much. It was absolutely fine. And even if you did feel a wee tiny nip, it's worth it, isn't it, for the benefit and the protection that you're going to get.
Scotland, I think.
I'm a vaccinator for this programme, so
it's a big needle, that is,
really,
fucking hell.
really excited and really looking forward to being part of making sure that the wider public and all my colleagues are protected as well against COVID-19. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting as many people immunised as possible over the next couple of months, so we can all start to try to get back to some semblance of normality in the future.
Fucking big needle. I mean, putting that inside your body is going to bloody hurt, but some people say it's not that bad. Have the needle, get better and all this malarkey. Anyway, Scotland now.
Given the welcome increase in rain
Nicola Sturgeon.
across the level 4 areas, I can therefore confirm that the city of Glasgow, Renfrewshire and East Renfrewshire, East and West Dunbartonshire, North and South Lanarkshire, East and South Ayrshire, Stirling and West Lothian will all exit level 4 on Friday. We do hope to see case numbers in these areas continue to decline for another week or so as a result of the level 4 restrictions. However, there's no doubt that the easing of restrictions that the exit from level 4 involves will give the virus more opportunities to spread. In light of that, we have decided to take a cautious approach and apply level 3 protections to all of these local authority areas for a period. We will observe the data carefully before determining in the weeks ahead if and when those 11 local authorities should move to level 2. When we introduced level 4 restrictions, we said they would be lifted at 6 p.m. on Friday, 11th December. That remains the case with one exception. Retail premises which have been closed under level 4 restrictions will be permitted to reopen from 6 a.m. on Friday. This is intended to help stores and shopping centres better manage the flow of customers after the period of closure. Presiding Officer, I would take this opportunity to appeal to everyone living in level 4 areas to continue to exercise care and caution. We have also looked very carefully at whether Edinburgh should move to level 2 at this stage. Edinburgh is currently recording 68 cases per 100,000, which is below the Scotland-wide average. Its test positivity levels are also relatively low. However, cases in Edinburgh have risen slightly in recent days. There seems also to have been an increase in East Lothian and Mid Lothian. Also, the imminence of the Christmas period has had an impact on our thinking. A move to level 2 in Edinburgh would mean opening up significantly more services in our second biggest city in the 2 weeks before Christmas. That move would carry significant risk of increased transmission, and for that reason we want as much assurance as possible that the situation is as stable as possible before making that move. For that reason, and this has been a difficult decision, we have decided not to move Edinburgh to level 2 this week, but we will consider this again next week.
Well, independence. One would say. Boris Johnson next.
Getting to net zero emissions means
So these adverts are so bloody boring.
Climate ambition.
We're going to be looking at the Brexit negotiations and what kind of deal Boris Johnson is going to be able to pull off. And we're going to look at 3 different scenarios. Him coming back with a hero deal, him coming back with an indifferent deal, and him walking away from the negotiations. And let's make no mistake, all 3 of those scenarios are currently possible. So at the moment, we think that Boris Johnson is staring down the barrel of a potential Brexit deal. I think people close to the action are saying there's a 50-50 chance of securing an agreement. And this poses risks politically to Boris Johnson. On one hand, of course, he wants to be able to bring back a deal that the Brexiteers, particularly his party, but generally that Tory MPs can support. And that means it needs to be a deal that shows that Brussels has capitulated on some of the UK's demands. Boris Johnson was elected on a Conservative manifesto pledge promising to not only get Brexit done, but get a Brexit which means Brexit, a Brexit that means returning full sovereignty to the UK. He himself said, people do not want Britain to end up being a colony of the EU, and that means a clean break. So if Boris Johnson is able to deliver effectively a good Brexit deal that is warmly received by his own party and indeed the public, then he has the potential, frankly, to rescue what has been quite a patchy first 12 months of his administration. He could return from Brussels a hero, sort of Churchillian, Thatcherite, but there are also, of course, 2 other potential outcomes. The first outcome, which is the most risky for Johnson and indeed potentially the most damaging, is a Brexit fudge. Where might that leave him? Well, if the Prime Minister thinks that the deal isn't going to be poured over by lawyers, Brexiteer, Remainer and otherwise, as soon as this is published, obviously he's deluding himself, and it will only be a matter of time before the small print is poured over, torn apart, criticised. So any indifferent deal, any fudge deal that seems to be neither a good Brexit or a bad one, but somewhere in the middle, is going to be difficult to sell politically because it's going to be very easy to criticise, and it will attract criticism from both sides. So he could find himself in some horrific pincer movement, like Theresa May was, of being attacked by Brexiteers and Remainers in his party. What about no deal? What we can all agree Boris Johnson has been very clear about is what he thinks Brexit means. His aims, as set out in the Tory party manifesto, are to deliver a clean break from Brussels. Although no deal will be spun by Remainers and the BBC and the CBI and the Twitterati and all of Johnson's main critics as a total failure of statescraft and a massive defeat, actually the Prime Minister could spin it in his favour, because he could say, I went to Brussels. We've been trying to negotiate with them since 2016. They have been completely intransigent. Look how Michel Barnier has behaved, effectively saying no, no, no to everything that we have asked for. All we wanted was to be treated on equal terms to Canada, and this is how we have been received in response. So they've talked about deep and special partnerships, and actually they haven't treated us like a friend, they've treated us like an enemy. And in order to get the clean break Brexit that I promised you, the electorate, upon which you elected me with an 80-seat majority, the only Brexit deal that would do and that would meet those clear aims is a no deal. I had to walk away. And yes, he'll be criticised, but as far as the public's concerned, the public might turn around and say to Johnson, well, fair play. He's had his so-called up yours Delors moment, and he's come away and he's protected British sovereignty. And because we know how many people voted for Boris Johnson on the back of the slogan of getting Brexit done, that is a perfectly cogent and perhaps even sensible political strategy for him to adopt. So really, he's only got two choices, hasn't he? He's got good deal or no deal. Having promised that no deal is better than a bad deal, it would seem that the latter is politically completely impossible for him to pull off. He's facing the toughest test of his political career with this Brexit deal, because if it isn't good enough, he's in trouble. And it might be detrimental to the country economically, but politically it might be more favourable to him in the face of a bad deal to just walk away.
Well, what could one say? Got all sorts of news that's on here today. Let's watch this news.
Come outside. Outside.
Who else is in the house, man?
My 2 children and my husband.
Where's your husband at?
Calm down. Calm down.
You want the children now?
Calm them all down.
Police and
Mr. Jones, come down the stairs. Now!
Police, come down now.
Search warrant.
Bring your
Come down the
children.
stairs.
My children!
Hang on, let me clear up.
He just pointed a gun at my children!
well, loads of news everywhere.
Now, in New Zealand, a Royal Commission report into last year's terror attacks on 2 Christchurch mosques has been made public, and in it the report said security agencies were almost exclusively focused on the threat from Islamist terrorism. They did also conclude, though, that there was no plausible way the gunman could have been detected. The white supremacist Brenton Tarrant was sentenced to life in prison for killing 51 Muslim worshippers and injuring dozens of others. Shama Khalil reports.
The terrorist attack that shocked the world and devastated New Zealand. On March the 15th, 2019, Brenton Tarrant, a white supremacist, opened fire in 2 mosques, killing 51 people and wounding dozens more as they got ready for Friday prayers. The quiet city of Christchurch became the scene of one of the country's darkest days. More than a year and a half on, a Royal Commission report on the mass shooting has now been made public.
Today we have answers on the matters of how the attack occurred and what could have been done to stop it. The Commission found no failures within any government agencies that would have allowed the terrorist planning and preparation to be detected. But they did identify many lessons to be learnt in significant areas that require change.
The report found that security agencies were almost exclusively focused on the threat from Islamic extremism and failed to investigate threats by the far right. It also said the police did not enforce proper checks on firearms licenses, but it found no failings within government agencies that would have alerted them to the imminent attack. Representatives of the Al Noor and Linwood mosques said the findings showed that particular government bodies failed to protect the Muslim community. Ali Al-Omari, whose brother Hussein was killed after challenging the gunman, welcomed the report, but said it brought back raw emotions.
It's still very hard to refer to Hussein in the past tense, but he was the backbone to our family and to his circle of friends and society. He is my hero, and he is a hero that society does deserve to have. I do hope that there are some learnings, not just to New Zealand, but to other countries that can implement as well in a very quick, swift manner to mitigate such risks from happening.
Some of the report's recommendations include further changes to hate crime laws, how firearms are managed, and the creation of an early intervention police program for individuals showing signs of radicalization. The aim is to prevent similar attacks and to help New Zealand and Christchurch move forward. But for those who've lived through the horrors of the day, life will never be the same. Shaima Khalil, BBC News, Sydney.
More of that news. Anyway, guys and girls, hope you all enjoyed the video. Give it a like, give it a comment, share it with your friends. I'll be doing some more videos like this later, so thanks for joining me. See you next one. Peace.